All right, well, welcome. Again, I'm Eric Alexander, Vision Long Island. Wow, we got a lot of people here today. I think we have almost 1,000 people seated. It's 900 and change. Let's give a hand. Are we having a good time today? Yeah. Woo! All right, we've done a lot of work today. We had a fantastic session. We had a fantastic session with 7 town supervisors, 4 village mayors, and Joy Brown, and it was focused on bipartisanship, working together, collaboration, all the things we care about, the things we can do. But let's get into the next. We've had a couple rounds of workshops that have been really inspiring. I'm hearing great things about them. We had a new elected officials orientation with some of our new elected leaders that really bipartisan. They're willing to work together, which is very interesting. But let's get started. We have a little hour and change that we got to move through, and then we have another round of workshops to close out the day. But let's really start with a prayer. And we have Pastor Charles Roberts with us from the Salvation Army. It's prayer, guys. Got to be quiet. Pastor Charles Roberts is fantastic from Salvation Army in Hempstead.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Let us take a moment and pray together. Blessed are you, Lord God of all creation, who gives us the gift of life, and with the gift of life we have the gift of hope. And in this season of giving and remembering and being grateful, God, help us all to create a new spirit of unity among us, that none would be left out, that all would be included in everything, in all good things. In thy name we pray. Amen.
I'd like our co-chair, Trudy Fitzsimmons, to lead us in the pledge.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And just a moment of silence, please. Thank you, and please be seated.
And so we have a special surprise today. I know this person as an elected official for Nassau County. I also know her as an attorney on various planning and development projects. But I found out within the last year or so that she's just a phenomenal singer. So legislator Laura Schaefer is going to lend her voice in our national anthem.
Phenomenal is a high bar. Thanks. Just kidding. Please join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh my God. All right. That's a rousing start, right? All right, so we're here today. We have over 1,200 people registered. We've had 70 a little more than 70 elected officials and appointed officials with us today. We have our youth summit that has been meeting all day today, and they're continuing to ask some really good, strong questions earlier. So we have a lot to be thankful for in our coming together. And the theme of this summit is collaboration. And that's been really the spirit that we need to get to. But we got to thank our sponsors. They're here. Their logos are all around the room. So let's just make sure I have the sponsor sheet. It is here. Trudy, you got one? No. Okay. So let's thank. All right, so we got to start. We got to thank First Equity Title. They're here with their pink tie group. You have it. Bank of America. Also, they're now a sponsor. They're a foundation. They have supported us. We'll talk about that in a second. RXR is a major sponsor. And we got to thank them. We'll hear from Rebecca DeLoya in a little bit. We definitely have Engel Berman, National Grid. National Grid, we have PSEG as major silver sponsors, or actually gold sponsors. So, you got it? Yeah. Okay. So, So, sponsors around the room, we have RXR, National Grid, Lyle Azarian Properties, Cameron Engineering, Mill Creek, Heartlands, Terwilliger Bartone, ACOM, Concern, VHB is with us. We have our labor in the house with DC9 and Mario Matera from the Plumbers Union has been continuing to support us. I mentioned PSEG, Ruskin Moscow Faltacek, Greenman Peterson, AT&T, Third Street Associates has stepped up for us. H2M has stepped up for us as they usually do, and Southern Land. Those are all as silver sponsors, and Brookfield Properties. Let's give them all a hand. In your packet, but apparently not mine, is the sponsors of all our bronze sponsors and everybody who's come together today. You can look around the room and see all the folks that have come together, so let's give them a hand. In your packet as well is our board of directors. Could our board of directors please stand? Everyone on our board. We got co-chairs, Trudy Fitzsimmons, Bob Fonte. We have our entire board of directors. Let's give these guys a hand. Phenomenal group. They've been speaking and coordinating panels and helping with sponsors and so they're great. We also have a great staff. I don't know where Tawan Weber is, our assistant director. I know she's bounced around. There she is. Let's give a hand to Tawan Weber. Alyssa Kyle, who's been really guiding the planning of our organization for so long. We're placemaking director. Alyssa, thank you. Chris Kyle is our Minister of Information, does our newsletter that you get every week. John Siebert, we picked him up since Sandy. Linda Henninger's done our outreach coordinator, and Christina Adams keeps our books. Let's give a hand to all the staff. All right, so I'm going to try to attempt to do this dais. Folks are going to have to look at me. We have Elizabeth from the African American Chambers join us. Yes. We have, is that Neil Lewis? I see Neil Lewis from the Sustainability Institute of Malloy on our dais. Yes, let's shout out to him. We have Dave Winselberg from Long Island Business News. We have David Walkoff from Heartland. We have Ron Stein, who is the founder of Vision Long Island. Let's shout out to Ron for a minute. He actually had time to stay for lunch, hanging out. So come on a dais, Ron. Who's next? Oh, we've got Lou Bukowski, who's not Marwa Fawaz, from VHB, and we love Lou. He's just joining us for the dais. He's speaking later. See him on Community Outreach Panel. Mario Matera, one of our friends from Labor, Plumbers Union. We got Joe Rossi from Southern Lands. So Joe, you got to watch. You got the plumber's union right next to you. You have to work that deal out. Okay. Brandon Ray from AT&T, who's just been on our board, is also very helpful. We have Mike Bonacasa from H2M. Yeah, just the Mill Creek project that was done. Those guys worked on it. It was fantastic. Who do we have next? Oh my God, we got Jake Turner from Engel Berman, another bald guy. You know. We got Gina Coletti from the Suffolk Alliance of Chambers. Thanks, Gina. We got Denise Carter from Greenman Peterson, traffic engineer extraordinaire. Well, we have our Long Island Railroad President, Phil Eng. He's here. We'll hear from him in a minute. John Keating from PSEG has been giving out Main Street grants. Maybe he'll stick around and talk to some of you guys. He's a popular guy. We put him closer to the front of the dais. Bob Fonte wears a lot of hats on the vision board, but also Suffolk Alliance of Chambers. Bob, let's give a hand to Bob. Trudy Fitzsimmons, who's been with us since the beginning, a founding board, along with Ron. Thank you, Trudy. We'll hear from our county executive, Laura Curran is back. Woo! We'll hear from Rebecca DeLoya from RXR. We have our lead sponsor, Mary Beth Petropoli from First Equity Title. Woo! Mary Beth. Kevin Lyle-Azarian Properties. When you're in Mineola, you can't miss it. You can't miss his buildings. They're phenomenal. Senator Anna Kaplan is joining us today. New York State Senator. We got Keith Rooney. Keith Rooney. We're going to hear about National Grid in a minute. The people are cheering. This is good. I know a lot of this group supported the pipeline. Thank you. Keeping gas on, it's very important. John Cameron, Long Island Regional Planning Board and Cameron Engineering, longtime friend. Richie Kessel, now wearing the hat of the Nassau IDA. I'm so not used to you doing that, but you're phenomenal. It's a whole new transparent IDA. Thank you, Richie, for being here. Adrienne Esposito, Citizens Campaign for the Environment, and our co-chair of Long Island Lobby Coalition. We'll hear from her in a minute. Dr. Rogers is not spending time with students out there. She's sitting on the dais now for an hour. So Dr. Natalia Rogers leading our youth summit. Frank Camerano. Now, we got a couple new leaders at the Nassau Council of Chambers. We sat them next to each other. Frank Camerano, Nassau Council of Chambers Vice President, and we got Dennis Grossman from the Nassau Council of Chambers, the President. Let's give a shout out to the Chambers are in the house. We love the Chambers. We got George Martinez, who wears a lot of hats. Village of Freeport. He's also Nassau County. Works for you, Laura. Yeah, Nassau County Office of Senior Affairs. He's also Hispanic Chamber. Just a great guy, George Martinez. Lionel Chitty, also Nassau Minority Affairs Commissioner, newly appointed. Let's give a hand. Longtime Vision Board member. I see Judy Simonchik from Fort Shelley is with us. Judy, also on the Vision Board. She's got a cheering section. And of course, Pastor Charles Roberts, who's just phenomenal also. And his group does great work. So, all right, that's our dais. So let me get through a couple announcements and we will carry on. Everyone at your seat has a card. We have formed a Main Street Alliance. We've always run a business group, but we now have a Main Street Alliance that isn't just businesses. It's civics, it's AARP, it's folks who care about downtowns, and we want you to enlist. It doesn't cost you anything. You have to just believe in changing your downtown area and improving it. And there's a number of things you could do. You can go to lobby with us. You could be part of press events. You could do research. You can promote your downtown. We're not looking to create a new organization with bylaws, all that. We have a Nassau Chambers. We have a Suffolk Chambers. We have an African-American Chamber. We have a Hispanic Chamber. We're going to be a team to provide support to these groups and our downtown efforts. There's 40 different downtowns represented today with community leadership. And we're going to be here to support them. So fill these out today. We're going to grab them. The wait staff's not going to throw them out. We're going to pick them up, and we're going to call on you. We have a meeting on January 22nd on local jobs for our downtowns and economic outlook. So we want you to be there. So that's that announcement. We have our youth summit on March 27th at St. Joe's. That's back. We need sponsors, so see her. We have our Smart Growth Awards on June 12th back here, so nominate an award. We have our Long Island Lobby Coalition. We'll hear about that in a minute. We have our Complete Streets Summit on April 1st because some of the deadliest things that we deal with on Long Island are walking and biking, and that shouldn't happen. So we need to improve our roadways. So with all that, those are our announcements. We're going to have some, this is going to be a little bit like a smart growth variety show. We got a lot of updates, and we've got two principal updates really from Nassau County and Suffolk County, from our Nassau County Executive and Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone. And we also have a update on the Nassau Hub. We're really excited about that. So that's what we're going to get done today. But let's start with the Long Island Railroad president, Phil Eng, who's just been really great on a lot of levels, communicating with people, getting money moved, getting projects moved, and answering questions, you know. So we're not going to torment him with questions today. You can grab them on the way out. But Phil, thanks for being here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy holidays. It is absolutely an honor to be here because as we talk about smart cities, smart growth, we talk about how we do that. And everyone here is smart people, right? We're movers and shakers. And for me to just be part of this is truly amazing. I will say at Long Island Railroad, we have an unprecedented amount of work going on. And I'm proud that that's, under the leadership of Governor Cuomo. We have a $6 billion investment in modernizing and improving Long Island Railroad. And that's critical to everything that everyone in this room is looking to do, because the Long Island Railroad's tentacles go all across Long Island. We're part of vibrant communities, and we're part of making sure the economy is sustainable and continues to grow. And I'd also like to say that we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without the great efforts of the workforce at Long Island Railroad. The labor component is essential to everything we do, from operating trains and moving people to building out and maintaining the system. And I have to give a shout out to Anthony Simon here from Smart UTU. Without our labor partners and our labor workforce, I wouldn't be standing here today. So, Eric, thank you for a little opportunity. County Executive Curran, thank you for your support as well. I mentioned smart leaders and bold leaders. I think that we have a lot of those folks here today, and I'm proud to be working with everyone here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Phil. Let's give Phil Eng a hand. When have we had a Long Island Railroad president come and step forward and communicate with local communities the way we want? He's been doing it. He's been doing it everywhere. So let's give him a hand. Phil Eng. All right, so this update is kind of interesting because, we had a little problem with our regional energy planning this year. And I went through the videotapes, and I found that National Grid would come to our summits and each year explain that they're doing a pipeline and that they're planning this infrastructure investment. We'd have hundreds of people, thousands of people, you add it all up. Nobody said boo. Now, people will complain when we misspell stuff on flyers. They'll get upset when, we do things, and nobody said anything. It's just really fascinating. Like, we get complaints about all kinds of stuff. We didn't really get complaints about National Grid's pipeline plan. Well, that changed this last year. Obviously, we could do this like in Seinfeld, yada, yada, yada. We just let's just get past what we lived through. The moratorium is over, but Keith Rooney is here from National Grid to explain what happens next, which is really important. So, Keith Rooney, National Grid.
Thank you, Eric. I don't like shushing people, so please be quiet. I'm only going to be 2 minutes. My grandmother used to shush me all the time, God bless her. So I just wanted to give a high-level update of where we are today. We did come to an agreement with the state last week, which lifts the moratorium on natural gas. It is a 2-year agreement, and I'm going to just make a couple of points. The first point I want to make is about the financial piece of this. So it's $36 million that we're going to give to the state. $20 million of that it will be put into clean, renewable energy, which is a great story, and I'm excited about that. $8 million of it will go into our energy efficiency programs, and $7 million are going to go into our customer assistance programs to help people that were affected by this moratorium. I stand here before you. This was a very difficult decision, and it was done with a lot of empathy for the customer. However, we do have an obligation to the 1.8 million customers that we serve downstate. So on the coldest nights of the year when you're with the people you love, imagine if somebody came and shut your gas off. So it was a very tough decision to make. But that being said, we're very confident that we're going to get through this working with our state officials. So that's the first point. The second point I want to make is the short-term solution. We went out aggressively and we went to some of our biggest commercial customers on Long Island that were strategically on the transmission system, and we're incentivizing them not to burn gas on the coldest days of the year. So what's going to happen is, and I won't mention names, but we'll go to a big user, and if they shut off those 10 days a year when it's really cold, we're going to give them a nice amount of money back to take that load off the system to help us during the coldest days of the year. We're also deploying compressed natural gas vehicles. There's 2 locations on Long Island, and they're both safe, and it's on our property. It'll be operated by union workforce. It'll be in a secure location that's gated in with security, and we will bring these trucks in to get through these coldest days of the year. And the last part of that is we're really driving the energy efficiency. That's what gets us through this winter and next winter. That's the short-term solution. The last piece of this is the long-term solution, and that's how do we get past the following winter. So we've agreed with the state to go out and do town hall meetings, meet with public officials, academics, and get input from all of you and get all that data together and then present it to the state and say this is the long-term solution and have that agreement in place by June of 2020. Once the agreement, and that'll be a plethora of, it's not just going to be one thing, it's going to be a mishmash of things, but in the end, it's going to be implemented by the winter of 2021 and carry Long Island into the next decade, which is very exciting for all of our customers. And I will say right now we have about 35,000 customers that are in the process of being reconnected, and I just wanted to give a special thanks to my team and how much they work, led by Kathy Wisniewski. A lot of good work going in here, working with our customer teams to get people back. People that are ready to get gas today, they're getting rehooked up, and that's exciting. But I do want to say that we're not just pounding the floor for a pipeline. We are a clean energy company. We are investing a lot of money in renewables, clean energy, solar and wind. And that's exciting because we're going to change the way we do business over the next decade and beyond. I did want to just thank a few people. First, I'd like to thank Eric Alexander from Vision and the board. Eric's been a great advocate. Actually, Eric was on Channel 12 News when this issue got hot a couple of months ago, and I came to work and told my boss, I think I just lost my job. He was pretty good. But besides that, I also want to thank Laura Curran, County Executive for Nassau. Also, Steve, yep, thank you. Steve Ballone, Suffolk County Executive, yep. Also, our union partners are here. Mario Matera, Matty Arich, John Durso, and all our brothers and sisters in the union that stood with us and supported this. We really want to thank you as well. And every senator on Long Island, I'm not going to go through all the names, but every senator and every congressman or woman, regardless of party, this is an energy issue for Long Island. I want to thank every one of you, town supervisors, every elected official, because I know how hard your job is. I just want to say thank you. I say we're going to get through this together. And we are a clean energy company, and together we'll get through this and we'll bring energy to life. Thank you.
Let's give a hand to Keith Rooney. We need clean energy like national gas. We do. And I'm glad we support it. So, and I'm glad to get, the gas is back on. This could have been really a bad winter. So, folks came together. All right, moving forward. We have a lot of different things going on, but we are going to hear from, since our county executive, Laura Curran, was here first. Steve, you were a little late. That's all right. We're going to hear from Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. She's doing so many things. If it's the hub, if it's transit-oriented development, and we're going to hear more about the hub in detail in a bit. She's doing so many things that embody the principles at which we care about. Everyone in this room, as far as smart growth, downtown revitalization, infrastructure investment, IDA work the right way, we're out in a lot of communities, and we get to hear her and her staff, and they're saying the right things, they're doing the right things, and thank you, Laura, for being here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. I know we have a packed program, so I've cut out paragraphs. You'll be happy to know we're going to make this as concise as I can. I just want to thank Eric and the entire Vision Long Island family, labor, chambers, civic, developers, builders, attorneys, everyone that it takes to get this done. We all agree that smart growth is the way to go, that transit-oriented development is the way to go for a successful, vibrant, and economically sustainable future. You've heard me, I think everyone in this room has probably heard me way too many times say this, but we're all really working together to make Nassau County and Long Island a better place, a great place to live, work, and play. Our young people are leaving on Long Island. This is happening now. They're leaving Long Island, and this has a dollars and cents impact on all of our bottom lines. Our tax base is shrinking, and the more young people leave, the higher the tax bill our remaining residents pay. So I'm not going to be all doom and gloom. I hope that's the end of the doom and gloom. We are working harder than ever to make our county attractive to new residents and businesses and workers. And one way is the creation of mixed-use and transit-oriented neighborhoods that will increase our stock of affordable housing here in the county. An initiative that I think we can all agree on. If there are some people who don't agree, that's okay. We're going to persuade you. We're pushing for zoning changes and more affordable rental options. And we also continue to promote investment in innovative industries like biomedical and IT. And I think green jobs are a very exciting possibility for our future. Sophisticated manufacturing as well. Our IDA, which is right over here, hello IDA, under the strong leadership of Chairman Richie Kessel and CEO Harry Coughlin, they're working really hard and succeeding in attracting next generation industries and investing in projects that deliver tangible economic benefits to Long Island. So whether it's keeping businesses, bringing new businesses here, or really great housing developments, they're getting it done with great success. And as you said, Eric, with a lot of transparency and accountability, and that makes a difference. Right now, the IDA is reviewing two important housing developments. One is Farmingdale's 100% workforce affordable housing, which is approved by the mayor of Farmingdale and his board, Ralph Extrin and his board, as well as a project to transform a dilapidated hotel into apartment units in Lynbrook, which is going very well. The developer is Anthony Bartone, the mayor is Alan Beach, and I think we should absolutely give them a round of applause for this. These kinds of projects are vital, and they are happening, thanks to the IDA, and thanks for them to pressing for affordability as such an important aspect of these developments. I also just have to pause. Next week, we're going to be making announcements about our 239F process. If you don't know what 239F is, you won't care. If you do know what 239F is, you will care a lot. I want to thank Mitch Pally and all of the people who've served on this board, this task force that we've convened to streamline 239F. It's going to make a huge difference in development in our county, so I thank you for that. We've already seen great success in Farmingdale, in Mineola, in Great Neck Plaza, and meanwhile, communities like Hicksville, Westbury, and Baldwin, and Hicksville is town of Oyster Bay, Baldwin is town of Hempstead, they're embracing new projects and considering zoning reforms that will help encourage future development. Just yesterday, a little bit of breaking news for you, the village of Westbury concluded its 2-year rezoning process for a partially blighted area near the train station to expand on its successful redevelopment efforts that are now in its thriving downtown, really capitalizing also on the third track initiative that's happening. And I know we have Bill Wise here from the village of Hempstead. Where are you, Bill? There you are. Thank you for your leadership there. Also, a huge kudos to Mayor Pete Cavallaro for his ongoing revitalization efforts. And taking advantage of the state's downtown revitalization grant and TOD tools from all levels of government. This is exactly the type of rezoning that our communities can embrace. So next up is Baldwin, where the community and the town of Hempstead is reviewing options for the state's $10 million DRI grant, Downtown Revitalization Grant. Very exciting stuff. To further support and encourage existing mixed-use downtowns and to advance transit-oriented development projects, the county a couple of months ago established its first TOD funding competition, which has been met with great enthusiasm by our municipal partners. So this funding is meant to address the growing pains of recent TOD development. So you've had TOD development, but you're seeing there's parking concerns, perhaps there are traffic issues, we need improvements in pedestrian safety. So we've received some competitive proposals, and I'm excited to announce the recipients soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to talk too much about the hub, because Rebecca DeLoya of RXR is going to give you a great presentation. Yes, it is happening. Our development team is finalizing the paperwork on the $85 million state grant for the very critically important parking garages needed to free up the site for the housing, for Northwell, for the Innovation Center, and for the retail. We already have state approval for that, so now we're just finishing up the paperwork to get it done. RXR will be submitting their conceptual master plan to our partners in the town of Hempstead imminently. That will be happening imminently, so we're excited about that. Anyone here from the town of Hempstead? All right, there you are, town. So look for this. It's going to be coming very, very soon. Thank you. I think everyone's excited about this project, and I expect to continue to move forward collaboratively with the county legislature, and I know we have some legislators here. I see Presiding Officer Rich Nicolello there. Thank you for your partnership, the town of Hempstead, and the community. Let's get it done. So I do have to mention, and this is really important in what we're trying to accomplish here, Newsday's recent thorough investigation that put a spotlight on unacceptable housing discrimination on our island. Since I've taken office, my administration has made significant investments promoting equal and fair access to housing for all of our residents. We settled a historic, this lawsuit. We had a housing discrimination lawsuit against the county. It was going on for 14 years. We finally settled it. We're moving forward with a commitment to the promotion of affordable housing across our county, especially in areas with access to transportation and good education. We kicked off a Welcome to Nassau campaign with Long Island Railroad ads and a new webpage highlighting that everyone, regardless of race, background, ethnicity, is welcome in our county, and that housing discrimination is illegal. I also want to note that in Nassau, this is a bipartisan initiative. I recently stood with the county legislative leaders, and again, I want to thank Presiding Officer Nicolello. I want to thank Minority Leader Kavan Abrahams and their teams to announce that we are forging an historic, comprehensive, and bipartisan plan to combat housing discrimination through increased enforcement, education, and community engagement. We're beefing up our office. We're beefing up our Human Rights Commission. We are appointing an advisory board, a long-standing advisory board. We have an RFP out for legal services to increase enforcement. We've appointed a special counsel in our county attorney's office, and we're engaging with realtors, which we absolutely have to do. We will also engage with our municipal leaders who are in charge of zoning. You're standing up. Does that mean it's time for me to wrap up? All right. I won't read that. I just have to give a special shout out to County Executive Steve Ballone. You may have read in the paper, he is moved forward an affordable housing development in East Northport, stalled for 41 years. So congratulations to that. It just shows it can take a while, but if you start, you actually can get something done. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for letting me talk for a little bit too long, and thank you for everything that each and every one of you do.
Wait, don't leave. So everybody knows,
It was a lot longer, but
No. So I'm not, sometimes our passion at Vision Long Island is a little too much, And I did this with Scott Reckler when I met with him in the city. I gave him some Excedrin just because sometimes I give people a headache, So I've been giving these out today. So Laura, in case I do, you have some Excedrin. So I apologize for cutting it short because I'd like to hear longer, but we're trying to rock on.
all right.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's give a hand to Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. Steve, I got one for you too, so, you know. You can take two if you want. I got to announce some elected officials, but you know I'm going to do that after because you're on a time schedule. So Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone is here with us, and I'm glad he's back. He's doing great work on wastewater, great work on downtowns. I think you know our theme today is communication, collaboration, and nothing showed that more than you standing with Republican supervisors in downtowns to try to move forward. It's not about politics, it's about getting it done. And you did it time and time and time again, and it just meant a lot. So, County Executive Steve Bellone, come on down.
Thank you very much, Eric. I will take that bottle of Excedrin.
Yes.
And I don't know anyone who is...
You got migraine, you got PM.
I'll take the PM. I don't know anyone who's ever accused Eric of being too much. Well, some people got that, all right. What I will say, and I want to thank Eric, as I do, for his leadership here. He is a tireless advocate on these issues and has helped drive forward exactly the things that we need to be doing in our region. So thank you to Eric Alexander and the entire team here, to Bob and Trudy. Let's give them a round of applause for what they've done. Ron Stein, our founder for Vision Long Island, all the members of the board, thank you for what you do. It is great to be here with County Executive Curran, who is not here anymore. I just noticed. I didn't even realize that. See, you should check before you say that. But I thank the county executive for her leadership and her partnership, and she said it really well. We are one island. You know, the border between the county is not a real thing. We are one region, and we have to be working together. And I think the theme here of collaboration and connection is vitally important, and it's what we've tried to do in Suffolk County. I want to thank all of my elected colleagues who are here, certainly in Suffolk County, but all across the region for what you do. I have been very encouraged by the fact, Eric referenced this, that we are seeing, in my view, more collaboration than I have ever seen before. You know, we focus on the local level of government. We have many, many local governments, as we know here. That's a very good thing. But we have to do big regional things as well. And those regional things that impact every community and every family on this island, those big regional things require us to work across municipal lines, to work up and down levels of government, to work across the county, to work across party lines, to put the interests of our communities and our families and this region ahead of partisan politics. There is a time for campaigning. I've been through one recently. The campaign is over. And then the rest of the time in between is about governing. It's about working together. And I really believe we're at a critical moment in our region's history. The challenges that we have here and many of the solutions that are articulated here at this forum are right there for us to grasp. And I just want to, so we know what those are, and I am very encouraged as I move into my third term. But I want to say one final thing. Laura mentioned it. You know, this organization, of course, talks about diversity in so many ways, particularly diversity in housing, types of housing. You know, but we have been given a real wake-up call on diversity in our region. And Laura mentioned the Newsday piece, which is, I think, a groundbreaking investigation. And people have asked me, are you surprised that there's discrimination? And I said, no, I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody could be surprised that discrimination exists, but the extent to which the report revealed it still exists today in 2019. And for those of you who read the report, you may have seen somebody highlighted in there, a man by the name of Eugene Burnett. I don't know if anyone knows him there. He was the first African-American sergeant in Suffolk County Police Department. Trailblazer in politics here. He also happens to be a veteran of World War II. And tomorrow is Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. You may have seen something in the paper. For the first time ever, the Pearl Harbor commemoration ceremony at Republic Airport will not have a Long Island Pearl Harbor survivor there. These World War II veterans, unfortunately, are from that greatest generation passing into history. He is with us, Eugene Burnett, World War II veteran. When he came back from the Army and went to buy a home on Long Island, where did he go? He went to Levittown. He went to Levittown and was denied the right to buy a home, this veteran of the United States Army of World War II, because of the color of his skin. And when I read that Newsday report and I saw him, I had him in mind. And I thought, what must it feel like for Gene Burnett, more than 90 years old today, with everything that he has done for our country, for our county, experienced in his life, to be reading on the cover of the paper in 2019 that this kind of housing discrimination that he faced nearly 75 years ago still exists. It is all of our responsibility to make sure that as we move forward, that what we all know to be unacceptable also passes into history. But what I will say finally about that issue is, and you referenced Matinecock, or Laura referenced the Matinecock development, which started in 1978. I was in Mr. McConnell's 4th grade class at Belmont Elementary School in 1978. Inclusive, affordable housing, fair housing, is in the interests of every single person in every community in this region and in our country. It is not just good for those that it helps personally, it is good for all of us. It is good for our economy. Not only is the moral right thing to do, it is good for everyone. And my hope is that the Matinecock development, 41 years in the making, will be a turning point and will be a model for people to see. How often have we seen where controversial things, once done, turn into something that is embraced by everyone? Where people look back and say, you've experienced that here. People look back and say, what were we arguing about? Right. Why were we so worried about that? I'm hopeful that that is what that represents, and that the Newsday investigation, which is a groundbreaking piece, also represents a turning point for our region. Thank you, everyone here, for what you do, and wish everyone very happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget your... Don't.
Thank you.
Let's give a hand for Steve Ballone. Again, another county exec who really touches on our values. I got to go out of order, and I'm really sorry. So wait, you get one now. Sorry, Rebecca. I got to go out of order because our New York State Senator James Gorin's got to run out to a meeting he's actually running. So he's here, and we're excited to have him. So while he's walking up, I'm going to shout out to the electeds that are here also. We have Assemblyman Chuck Levine. We have Assemblyman Mike Fitzpatrick right in front of me here. We have Senator Phil Boyle. We have Nassau County Presiding Officer Rich Nicolello. How could I miss that tall man? He's there. Ellen Birnbaum, Nassau County. Deborah Muley, Nassau County Legislature also. Jack Schneerman was here, Nassau County Comptroller. Steve Flotteren from the Suffolk Legislature. Anthony Piccarello, I think, is still with us. Yes, he's there. We also have Chris Carini from the Town of Hempstead, Councilman-elect. Veronica Lurvy, Town of North Hempstead. Marianne Delamonte from Town of North Hempstead, Councilwoman-elect. Laura Meyer, Town of Oyster Bay, Councilwoman-elect, and they were part of a new elected officials orientation, which was great. We also have Brian Foley, the former New York State Senator, with us. Brian. We also have former New York State Senator Jack Martins with us. And we also have our good friends Joe Galante and Mike Caplice from the Office of New York State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli. And we want to have Tom back to us. So with that, I'll stop. And Senator James Gorn has been part of our lobby coalition, moving some of these priorities forward. Thank you. We'll hear from Adrian in a minute. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric, and congratulations to Vision Long Island for the great work you've done. And I realize that Eric's biggest logistical problem for next year is he's going to have to figure out where he can get more banners hanging up. So I'm going to suggest, I know we have Mario Matera and some of the great men and women from our Long Island building trades here. I bet they could figure out a way to hang things from the ceiling. So thank you so much for this opportunity to briefly say hello, because those were my instructions. And I'm very proud to represent the 5th District, the North Shore District on Long Island. I represent half Suffolk, half Nassau, and I mention that because often my staff will tell me the county executive is on the phone, and I pick up the phone and I think it's Malone, and it turns out being Curran. So, but they are two outstanding public officials, as are so many others in this room, and I'm very proud to partner with them, the men and women of labor, and of course our leaders in business and not-for-profit across Long Island. We're going to have some challenges coming up in New York this year. Our budget crisis is real. We have a $6.1 billion gap we need to fill. But I got to tell you, we're going to work very closely with our Long Island colleagues. My colleague Anna Kaplan is here. We all work very closely to make sure that we fight every single day to make sure that whether it's economic development funding, whether it's funding for education, whether it's funding for sewage treatment plants, for upgrading our water systems, that Long Island gets its fair share. And that is the commitment that we have. We're going to go forward with it. We have to recognize that these are tough times, particularly with our tax code, with the changes in Washington. That has affected all of us. But I want you to know that your senators from Long Island are going to be working every single day we can to make sure that Long Island gets not just what it deserves, but what it needs so that we can continue to move forward. Thank you so much.
Good. Let's give a hand to Senator James Gorn. We'll see him in Albany. We just got to do this in some kind of order that makes sense. So we do have our other New York State Senator, who's also on the Small Business Committee that really matters to a lot of us here. Anna Kaplan. She's going to give us a couple words real quick. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anna Kaplan. I'm the senator for District 7, and which covers the northwest of Nassau County. I'm also the chair of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Economic Development, and Small Business. So I appreciate the work that is being done by Eric Alexander and Long Island Vision to promote smart growth in our communities and in our downtowns. Because of these investments in our communities, become significant forces for our economic development, and it helps the small businesses throughout our communities, and it's a very good basis for all of the communities to know that their businesses are thriving. It's been my colleague, Senator Gorin, mentioned how we have a challenging year ahead of us. I will talk to you a little bit about the year that we just had. I'm really privileged to represent this district and also all the residents in state of New York. It has been a historical year for us. We came in and we made sure that we passed the 2% tax cap and made it permanent, because we understand here in Long Island our real property taxes are really high, and we wanted to take action and make sure that we are doing everything in our power to take care of our residents. We also did bring back record funding for our public schools to keep the local taxes down, and we eliminated the internet tax advantage to level the playing field for the small businesses. We also passed other really significant bills such as Child Victims Act, Reproductive Health Act, and Red Flag Law. As a chair of commerce, I have to tell you this has been a challenging year, and I hear, coming from a council seat, I saw how some of our downtowns, our main streets are suffering. I made it my mission to travel throughout the state and to have roundtable discussion with small business owners, Chamber of Commerce, and stakeholders to hear about the different issues that are impacting their businesses and the climate in New York. And as a result of this tour, I'm currently preparing a number of small bills that support regulatory relief bills that will help improve the business climate in New York and to help to support the small businesses that are really the backbone of our communities. And I'll put it out there for all of you. If you've got any ideas to share with me in this coming up year, please reach out and let's discuss how we can work together. And I truly believe in collaboration. And I'd love to hear from all of you, and thank you for all the work that you're doing for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kaplan. I know you took some leadership in the internet sales tax, and let's give her a hand for that. All the chambers came together on that one. And I know it wasn't always popular, but she did the right thing on that. And we look forward to working with her in Albany. So we're going to get back in order. We're going to close out with our good friend Adrienne Esposito. She's going to end our program. No, wait. You're going to end it. We're not over yet. So we have our featured presentation. We're here to hear about the Nassau Hub. Where's Frank Camerano? Frank, are you still there, or did he run out? Okay, so we have our Nassau Next Steps Coalition, which has seen this presentation in local communities. All the civics and chambers around the hub have been meeting, and they've gotten a preview on this, but you guys haven't. And Rebecca DeLoya is the vice president of RXR for development, and she's essentially the project manager for this project. So all the elements of this very complicated project that hasn't worked for all these years, she's the lady who's got to get it done, all right? So no pressure, but she's the lady that's got to pull it together, right? And she's doing it. She's worked with Ratner before. She's been part of that development team. She's also been part of Lincoln Center revitalization for many years. She lives in Huntington. She's a Long Islander. And she grew up in Northport, I think, which is where I'm from, too. So, hey, Rebecca's here. She's ready to rock. Let's give her a hand. Rebecca DeLoya from RXR.
Hello. At least I don't have to sing the national anthem, so I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you for having me here today, and it's a real honor to share the microphone with County Executives Bellone and Curran. I'd like to start by acknowledging our development partner, Onexum, who share our vision for this project, which I'm going to get to talk to you about today. And I've been sitting on the dais looking around, and I see so many familiar faces. There's grassroots advocates, local elected officials, and I just want to thank all of you for being part of this event, and thank you, obviously, Eric and the Vision Long Island team for putting together this great day. So as Eric mentioned, I'm Rebecca DeLoya. I'm the Senior Vice President for Development at RXR and the Project Executive for the Hub Project. RXR has been at the helm of master plans really throughout the metropolitan region. In New Rochelle, we worked with the city to develop a new zoning framework to revitalize their transit-oriented downtown. In Glen Cove, we've worked with the city of Glen Cove on the Garvey's Point development, where I'm happy to say that we've welcomed our first residents this fall, really revitalizing a blighted waterfront. But we don't just look at development as buildings. We look at development as building communities. And you'll often hear our CEO, Scott Reckler, say, doing good while doing well means doing better. And that is a mantra that trickles down throughout RXR. And in Nassau, RXR has the privilege of working with our partner on this great site known as the Nassau Hub, a project which exemplifies what I think everyone in this room already deeply understands, which is there's a transformative power in well-planned, responsible, and innovative development to really drive the success and growth of our communities. A year ago, the county legislator gave us and Onexum a green light to start this transformation of the 72-acre site. And what we see today is a model for a dynamic and walkable Long Island, an economic engine, a haven for tourism, and truly a hub for innovation. And today I'm happy to share some progress that we've made towards that goal. The space around Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum is a great canvas for development that can really elevate our communities. And so far, as we've looked at the site, we've contemplated this question and tried to answer, what do the future of the suburbs look like? And how do we transform the nation's oldest suburb into the most innovative neighborhood in the country? And the answer revealed itself to be quite simple: innovation everywhere. Innovation is a lens we've applied to every part of this project to attract the most important part of success in the 21st century. That's talent. We've already taken a first step through our partnership with Northwell Health in our Innovation Center at the Hub. We'll transform workspaces from individual offices to gathering places where we can foster collaboration and discovery. Well-designed, fully amenitized housing will provide new options for a younger workforce, that emerging workforce, to stay on Long Island, as well as empty nesters. And retail will look beyond traditional models and provide visitors with immersive, unique experiences, really imbued with the art and the fabric of our community. And we'll drive towards ambitious goals for sustainability and energy efficiency. We'll enhance mobility. Even the community outreach as part of this project has been innovative. We've spent months and years really speaking with hundreds of stakeholders in the community, and with the town and the county have developed an innovative community benefits advisory committee helping us really identify all the opportunities that this project can meet. Members include electeds, institutional stakeholders, community leaders, and subject matter experts, because we realize that a plan that reflects what the community wants is not only the plan that gets built, it's the plan that we're all proud of. So planning principles. Smart growth, what we're here today to talk about, is at the heart of this project's DNA, and it's been reinforced through the community outreach we've done so far. We've also toured projects across the country to see best practices and to learn and take note of lessons learned. As a result, we've got 5 planning principles here that will drive the success of the project. First, make it a connected destination, not just physically, but digitally. Make it truly walkable with complete streets. Have the uses be diverse and flexible to not only drive energy, but also deal with market cycles. Create a project with programs that create meaningful community engagement. And capitalize on this existing sports and entertainment asset in the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum and create an environment for extended stay and play. With a site this large, we need to think about it in districts. And so we've broken it down into districts that reflect its mix of uses. We have a solid street-level planning that will keep the whole site interconnected and a unified whole. In the sports and entertainment district, we'll not only complement Coliseum events, but provide plenty of social opportunities on non-events too. And in the town center, where we see 500 units of housing, envisioned as a mix of traditional and co-living units, we'll be able to attract that emerging workforce and also have a residential program with an active retail base. The innovation district, in a mix of R&D and office and meeting spaces, potential hotel uses, and in a dynamic open space element I'm really excited to talk to you about today. Today, for the first time, I want to talk to you about something we're really excited about, a parking garage, a 1,300 space parking garage with a 2-acre rooftop. And I know this is something that's been traditionally a necessary evil, really a one-dimensional aspect of a project, but we're using it as a platform here to make something truly forward-thinking and multifaceted. Activating the parking garages has been a big part of what we've been speaking with the community about. These will be built with future-proofing in mind. They're shared, adaptable, multi-purpose. This diagram is a conceptual description of some of the possible elements we could deploy. We're looking at some of them very closely and continuing to study others. The garages will include infrastructure for modern transit modes, like EV charging stations, bike parking, formalized rideshare, We're also looking at automated parking solutions to try to cut down on the circulation of the site and also increase the efficiency of the garage. We're planning solar arrays on the roofs, and we'll also be working towards a rooftop farm. The conceptual plan in the next rendering, you'll get a sense of what that looks like. Admittedly, farming is not really our core business, so we've engaged some professionals in the space. Brooklyn Grange, who's really leading the charge in this area, is developing a plan that will ensure that the rooftop farm can be something that's successful and a true multifaceted community event. This is an opportunity to provide learning and innovation in sustainability, can foster workforce development. It can also provide fresh local produce to area residents and farmers markets, and it'll be a natural space for socializing and relaxing. In addition to Brooklyn Grange, we've engaged with organizations such as Island Harvest, Long Island Cares, Hofstra University, Cornell Cooperative Extension, LI Wine Council, and others to make sure that we are taking advantage of all the great existing programs that are already in place and collectively utilizing them at the hub. Here's a rendering of our entertainment district. To orient you, you are actually on the plaza in front of the Coliseum. This sits right at the heart of the community, and it really is a 24/7 gathering place for visitors, residents, and the local workforce. A food hall, flexible event space, live entertainment venues, and other dynamic retail will spill out into the public realm and really energize the streets and create that sense of place. An activated public plaza at the heart of this district will welcome visitors and daytime users throughout the week and accommodate larger programming around the Coliseum events. So mobility is a big issue and certainly part of what our Innovation Everywhere tactic is addressing. The fact is Long Island drives and will continue to drive, but if we don't start planning for a future that's less dependent on those cars, we'll never be successful in getting there. So at the hub, we've designed it so that once you've parked, you can actually access the whole rest of the project without having to get back into your car. And we'll also create infrastructure for other modes of transit within the streets that we're designing there. We're exploring autonomous vehicle pilot programs, bike and foot traffic, on-demand transportation systems, and even microtransit systems that really embrace the sharing economy. Obviously, powering this entire site will be that fast emerging 5G infrastructure so that these types of technologies can be available at your fingertips. Thanks. A critical tool, obviously, in creating a site like this is the open space. And it is a vast parking lot today, so greening it is a really important part of the heart of the project. So this landscape will include water features, public art, street furniture, pedestrian-scaled lighting, and playful art installations, all that encourage people to come and stay and spend the day here. We'll be designing elements that encourage year-round daily use, and we'll also put a priority on sustainability and resiliency. Our landscape architect, Martha Schwartz Partners, has been working through the elements of the plan. They're pioneering a carbon calculator, which can be used as a tool to measure the carbon footprint of the trees that we plant, and so we can actually design towards carbon reduction. So, Eric has stood up, but thankfully I was actually at the end of my presentation. I hope you can tell we're very excited about this project, and it's a real honor to be here with you today. You know a little bit about our next steps, as you heard from the county executive. I do want to mention that we're working closely with organized labor in the Nassau and Suffolk building trades to craft an innovative project labor agreement. And we're also working with the county and with our Community Benefits Advisory Committee towards the documents that we will need to be bringing back to the county legislature, hopefully by the end of next year. So I thank you so much for your time. I hope you liked what you saw. We're very excited about it, and we can't wait to bring this to fruition after a very long time in coming. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So not only, guys, I know it's long, and we got great dessert and stuff, so we want to hang out. I know we got some more workshops to go, but Rebecca, I don't know. I told you Don Clavin was here, the Hempstead supervisor, and he wasn't he really positive about the hub, guys? Right? So I think we're finally, we got this great plan. We've got the county executive behind it. We got the community behind it. We have the new town supervisor on board. So I think we have something now, guys. I think, I think we're close. So keep it going. Let's give Rebecca Deloya a hand for her leadership. All right, so we're going to end the program. Look, we started late, so we're going to end a few minutes late. So everybody just kind of hang in there for a minute. We're going to end the program with two activists because we need to take action. It's really as simple. So the first one is, and I just have to give credit. Actually, before I thank the activists for doing what they're doing. Shh, I should have done this earlier. I didn't see my sponsor sheet properly, and I did not thank who I needed to thank. So our lead sponsor, and she didn't want to speak today because she just was like, you know what, there's a long program. Mary Beth Petropoli from First Equity Title is our lead sponsor again and again and again and again and again. She's also got a partner in RXR now in the sense that they've stepped forward to sponsor us too. But we can't do this without leaders stepping up. So Mary Beth, let's all give a hand to Mary Beth Petropoli. Sorry, I didn't have my sheet and I spaced out on the program here. So, back to our activists. One is, we have someone on our board named Sharon Mullen who's with the Long Island Housing Partnership who does a fantastic job on fair housing, and she moderated our housing panel, and she's always pushing fair housing in our organization. We've also known this group called Long Island Housing Services for a gazillion years. There's Ian Wilder, and we knew Michelle Sant'Antonio years ago. Housing discrimination has really become in the forefront of what we've got to face. It's always been there, but it's something that's popped out in our minds in the last couple weeks. So I want to give Ian a minute to just share what we can do with him and with Housing Partnership and with the county execs, all the folks that are working on this stuff. So Ian, come on down.
Hi there. I know we're running late, so I don't want to keep you long. I'll give you the end piece first. Call your congressmen and senators. Agencies like mine, and we're the one on Long Island that gets about $300,000 for funding in order to test, investigate, do outreach and education on fair housing. Our funding will end February 14th, and HUD has still not put out the next grant proposal for us to even fill out. That means for at least several months on Long Island, there will be no funded fair housing work done here, because we will have to turn our people to other grants so that we can keep them on. This is not just a Long Island problem. It affects a third of all the nonprofits like mine across the United States. So what I need you to do is call your congresspeople, call our U.S. senators, tell them that HUD needs to release the enforcement funds that they already allocated. The money's there, it's just not being spent. So that's what I need. Thank you, Eric, and thank you for Long Island Vision for letting us speak.
You got it, man. Oh, you're welcome. Good work. So when he sends the emails around saying support, support. When he says go to Albany, call your congresspeople, call your senators, call Albany, support it. It's a serious issue. They're a serious group. And they're not just a group they're a group that actually partners with LIBOR and local governments. It's not just about making a point, it's about doing the right thing. And they've done it for years. They've got decades of a track record on this issue. So I'm glad, Ian, you could spend some time with us today. Sorry it was so short. I do have to shout out to a few people. Gene Cylinder, who is just awesome, Village of Great Neck Plaza Mayor. Waylon Hobbs from the Village of Hempstead. Mercy Smith from the Village of Northport. William Wise from the Village of Westbury. Teresa Santora from the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo. Former County Executive Steve Levy is with us. Where's Steve? Where's Steve? There, he just left. Oh, well, at least we shouted out to him. So, and I think, okay, so let's get to our closing We have in your packet a flyer from the Long Island Lobby Coalition. We have some new partners that are coming on board. I know Ignite Long Island wants to join us. We're looking forward to them. We're looking at Mark Epstein with the Long Island Railroad Communities Council. It's awesome. We have a number of groups with us, but I'm going to let Adrian kind of close us out, and then Tawan Weber's got some updates that she's got to share, and then we're moving on to our workshops. So Adrian Esposito, the co-chair of the Long Island Lobby Coalition, she's got some updates. Let's give her a hand.
So I hear in 10 minutes dinner will be served, but no, just kidding.
Thanks.
Eric is like, thanks. Okay, I'm going to make this quick, but not sweet. It'll be short, but not sweet. First off, thank you all for coming today. I just want to mention to you that the Long Island Lobby Coalition, for those of you who don't know, is a very diverse group of people. Today's theme is about collaboration and cooperation, and that's exactly how the Long Island Lobby Coalition was funded. It's all different groups. It's civic leaders, it's small business representatives, it's Chamber of Commerce's, it's labor leaders. We have Ryan Stanton from the Long Island Federation of Labor is a member. And it is environmental groups, smart growth groups that all come together and they say, let's not talk about what we disagree with. Let's figure out what we agree on. Oh, you're welcome, Eric. Look how happy Eric is. It's hard to do that. And so that is our work. And we don't always agree. And we sit down many times, and there are things that we try to agree on, and we have to put it to the side because we do not come to consensus. But what we do agree on are what's right for Long Island. Sewer infrastructure and sewer funding. And the Long Island Lobby Coalition has had much success in putting sewer infrastructure funding back in the New York State budget. You know, it wasn't even a line item in the budget until 2014. And in part, that is also because of the work the Long Island Lobby Coalition did. Safe streets. No one ever says, I don't want safe streets. No one ever says, I don't want sidewalks that are safe. But yet, that kind of an issue usually falls to the bottom of the priority list unless it's given a voice. And the Long Island Lobby Coalition gives it a voice. That and things like buses. Nobody ever says, I'm anti-bus. I don't want buses to operate. But those people who do want buses to operate and get funded, it's usually something that doesn't get a strong enough voice, and the Long Island Lobby Coalition gives it a voice. Same, and we've worked a lot on wind power together. We all agree transitioning Long Island into clean, safe, renewable energy is good for our island, and that's the way to go. Now, one other thing before I close out, I need your help. Eric doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I would be remiss. Okay. This is a bill that Long Island Lobby Coalition supported. This is the bill, he's relieved. This is a bill that takes 1,4-dioxane out of household products, right? Passed the Senate unanimously. And I'm sorry, state senators, but it's very hard to get a bill past the state Senate unanimously. It passed the Assembly 111-2. I don't know who the two renegades were, but I guess they don't like clean water. And that was in June. It has not gone to the governor's desk yet. It's December 6th. We are running out of time. The reason we need this bill is when a cancer-causing agent is in our laundry soaps and our bath gels and our shampoos and our dish soap, then it goes down the drain, and on Long Island it goes back into the aquifer system, where we have to pay to filter it out. That's a lot of money, and we're also drinking it now, many of us. So we said, let's prevent it from getting contaminated. Let's get it out of the products. The bill bans it from common household products. I need you guys to call the governor's office. I'm going to give you the number right now. And just say, please vote, please pass the bill for 1,4-dioxane to be banned from common household products. Now listen, shh. You're going to write this down. Get a pen out. Come on.
All right, I got my pen.
Okay, Eric's got a pen. Because we can't do this without you. It's 518-474-8390. What are you guys all memorizing it? Okay, that number again is 518-474-8390. And all you have to say is, I live on Long Island, I really want this bill to be signed into law. It's the 1,4-dioxane out of household products bill. I see him standing. But listen, we really need this to happen. Please do that. It's another bill from the Long Island Lobby Coalition. It's a bill about clean water, protecting you, protecting our safety, and keeping water affordable for everybody. So thank you again, and appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Adrian. Adrian, don't leave. I have some aspirin for you. She needs it. This is tension headache. They're all different ones. We've got some others before we go. Swan Weber, where are you? Right here. I'm going to give you the rest of the box. But this one's migraine.
Okay.
So thank you guys. I'm turning it over to Swan. This has been great. Carry on.
Okay, so I know I'm standing between a lot of you in our final panel and the end of the day. So I just want to say, first of all, on behalf of the staff of I'm going to open this while we're... On behalf of the staff of Vision Long Island, I want to thank you all for coming. We really just appreciate everything you guys do for us, being your support, staying through the day. I know that's a lot of dedication, and we are always so grateful for that. And for everyone whose banner is hanging around the room, for your continuous support. You allow us to get this room filled, but not only that, to do the community work that we do. And with that, we want to be able to reward the work that is done. So in your flyer, you have a packet. In your packet, you have a flyer. I'm going to take these very soon. You have a flyer for June 12th. It has the nomination availability for our awards. It also has early registration. For those of you, I know some people who were upset that they didn't have good seating. Register now. I will always say that sponsorships are available now. I will be downstairs. So we will, but we do want to make sure that we recognize and honor the people in June that have been continuing to do good work this year and honor the principles that help to make Long Island our home, our community, in our character, in the type of vision that we have, that we want to live in, not just now, but in the future. And I will end with this. We do say thank you to all of our sponsors, and you have the sponsor cloud in there. But we also want to recognize Bank of America. They were not able to be here today with us, but they were gracious to join us for our networking breakfast and donate to us. They provided us with a $30,000 community grant to continue the work we do on Long Island. And that's going to go, absolutely, let's give them a round of applause and the work that they've done. That's going to help us to work in communities in both Nassau and Suffolk. That does not mean that you guys don't continue to sponsor, that's not a pass. But it does allow us to continue to do a lot of the work that needs to be done for communities that don't have the funding to normally have a voice to speak for themselves. So we want to once again just thank you all for everything you've done, and to our executive director, Eric Alexander, who's ignoring me. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great evening. See you in June.